This must be what we were sent to investigate. It doesn't look like any sort of hatchery.
You're right. But let's check it out anyway while we're here. An ancient building, tucked away in a forest for who knows how long.
Fair point. I'm curious too now. Let's go in. This is incredible. According to this book, this temple was constructed hundreds of years ago, years before the crown existed, and the people of that time lived in constant fear of demons. They offered human sacrifices to those demons in an attempt to appease them. And somehow, through those sacrifices, they accidentally discovered a connection to the world of the living. What kind of connection? That remains unclear, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to go look for books in the other rooms. I'll see you up ahead. Ah, Apollo. I was reading through that book over there. It talks about angels. Angels lived in this afterlife at some point. Maybe they still do even, though I can't say I've seen any.
Angels.
Demons who admired humans and who chose to help humanity. The demons would baptize themselves in spawning pools, and as a result, they'd take on human-like appearances. Human-like, except for the addition of wings anyway. And although they'd look human, they'd still retain demon-like powers. It says in the book that demons and angels alike would travel to the living. Demons to harm humans, and angels to help them.
Angels and demons would travel from the afterlife to the living world.
That's what the book says, but it doesn't elaborate how. Perhaps that's in another book. I'm going to take a look around and see what other books this temple holds. Fascinating. This is a book about reincarnation. Hundreds of years ago, the ancients discovered a mystical portal underground. For decades, they made human sacrifices by throwing themselves into the portal. They considered it a painless, instant death. But what they didn't realize is that when someone went into the portal, they didn't die. Their soul was transferred into the world of the living, reborn into a new body.
Similar to how one's soul transfers to a new body when we're reborn into the afterlife.
Precisely. And although they'd lose all their memories when being reincarnated, those memories would slowly return to them once they returned to the afterlife.
So, once their reincarnated selves died, they'd come back here and remember it all. Remembering all their past lives. Remembering the reincarnation portal. Everything.
Right. That's how they came to realize the nature of the reincarnation portal. Those who'd been reincarnated would return to the afterlife upon death, decades later, and tell them.
It says the portal is underground. Is it under this temple?
Let's see. No, it says this temple was built long before the portal was discovered. The portal is somewhere far west from here. This sounds like a lot of nonsense to me.
You don't believe it?
No. I believe in the teachings of the acolytes of the third world.
That's the religion the Crown pushes. Do you trust anything the Crown says after?
Enough! Don't you dare speak her name. Charlotte believed. Charlotte was an acolyte of the third world too. She was as passionate a believer as I was, perhaps even more so. She prayed at the church every day. Every morning, without fail, she was there. I was an acolyte before I met her. But through her, my faith grew even stronger. Acolytes of the third world believe that there's another world beyond this afterlife. We believe that the way to reach that afterlife is not through natural death, but through rapture. We take ether to ensure we will live long enough to be raptured into the third world. The proof is there. People disappear from the afterlife all the time. People who live safely, far from demons, still disappear. The Crown assures us that these are people who are raptured away into a better world. Charlotte never lost faith. I won't either. This temple is full of lies.
Did Charlotte really believe in the Crown's religion, or was it part of her cover as a member of the Resistance? Either way, Bart needs time to reconcile this inner conflict himself. His grief over Charlotte, and knowing that the Crown, that he's been serving all this time, is responsible. It can't be easy having your life suddenly upended like that. I'll give him some space. In the meantime, I bet this temple has more secrets to uncover.
This room is a dead end. It must be the core of the temple.
It's very cold in here,
Indeed.
and something feels off.
What is this massive orb for, I wonder?
Help me.
The orb can speak.
No, I'm an angel. The demons trapped me in this orb hundreds of years ago. Place your hand upon the orb and break the seal to free me.
An angel? The books were telling the truth?
Should we free it?
Let's try it. I need to find out whether this angel is real. I'm going to try and break the seal.
Halt, humans.
What the hell is that thing?
Learn some manners, disgraceful human. I am the guardian of this temple. Long have I watched over this imprisoned angel, ensuring it does not escape.
Why? Why did you lock it away?
Death would be too merciful. It must suffer in confinement for eternity for its sins.
Its sins.
Hundreds of years ago, it was this angel that first taught humans to use nether.
Nether. That's the rock-like material that's used to create subjugators.
Huh?
The rock-like nether resonates at a particular frequency, putting demons into a mesmerizing trance. That's what allows us demon summoners to summon and command demons.
Indeed, You've enslaved us with our own source of life.
Your own source of life?
Ignorant human. Nether is what gives demons biological immortality.
Just like ether does for humans.
Yes, it's no coincidence. Ether, a liquid found deep underground, hardens into nether over thousands of years. When you humans mine ether, you're depleting our future nether. It's bad enough you use our nether to control us, but to go ahead and threaten its very existence, to extend your own lives at the cost of ours? You humans have a way of ruining everything. Wisdom should bring prosperity. Instead, the more you humans learn, the more you destroy. Which brings us to this angel. If not for this very angel, we demons would still control this world, and it would be a just, righteous world. You humans would still be hiding away in caves, cowering away from our strength. But now, all because this angel taught you to turn us against each other in battle, we have to stand by and watch our world be destroyed by your selfishness. I will not allow you to free this sinful angel.
Thank you.
You're an angel. Aren't you supposed to have wings, like the statues?
Yes. At one time I did. As you may know, an angel's wings symbolize its covenant with humankind. An angel's wings gain feathers when it helps a human. When those demons captured me, they clipped my wings as a symbolic act of revenge.
That's terrible.
Demons really hate angels, huh?
Indeed. We are considered outcasts. Criminals even, all for helping another species instead of just our own.
That's right. That book said angels used to be demons.
Yes, we admire humanity despite its flaws. That's why we dip ourselves in spawning pools, allowing us to take on a human-like appearance. We know we can never truly be human, but we aspire to be more like you and less like the beastly demons. I envision an afterlife run by humans, not demons. Most demons are too foul, too bloodthirsty, too power-hungry. You humans share some of those traits, sure, but you also hold other ideals. Ideals that very few demons hold. Ideals of justice, mercy, kindness, and love. That is why I brought humans' knowledge to create subjugators all those years ago, in hopes you would better this world.
You mentioned other angels. We haven't seen any. Did the demons get to all of them while you were locked away here?
No, the organization you now call the Crown did that during their rise to power. They massacred the other angels. As you can imagine, this discouraged other demons from becoming angels.
What? But the angels helped humans. Why did the Crown want to eradicate them?
To stop the cycle of reincarnation.
Reincarnation.
Hundreds of years ago, long before the Crown took power, there was an angel named Uriel. Uriel brought humans the wisdom of reincarnation. He created a reincarnation portal deep underground in a land far west of here. This was a portal which, when entered, would cause a soul to be reborn into the world of the living. The reborn soul would lose its memories of the afterlife, living a fresh life, starting as a baby. When it later died and returned to the afterlife, all memories of any previous visits to the afterlife would return. We angels tend to believe in personal freedom. Everyone should have the choice to reincarnate, to leave this world and live a new life, if they so desire. But the Crown sees people as its slaves. the eternal workforce it needs to run its factories and build its structures. The Crown envisions itself leading humanity toward a utopia. I see it as restricting individual liberty, as did most angels. Angels' beliefs and the Crown's beliefs are fundamentally incompatible, so they sought to eliminate us entirely.
This is a lot to take in.
And there was another reason the Crown hated the reincarnation portal.
What was that?
Demons would occasionally escape into it.
Huh?
Yes, it wasn't just humans who could reincarnate. Demons would enter into the portal and be reborn into the world of living humans. This is where fairy tales came from. Humans would spot these creatures and write stories about them. Goblins, fairies, and so on were all just demons who escaped from the afterlife into the world of the living.
So the Crown was trying to protect the world of the living from the demons?
Indeed. And perhaps that part of their motive is respectable. However, there surely would have been a better way than to seal away the portal and slaughter the angels, if that were their only motive. They could have maintained human access to the portal while defending it against demons. In the end, it's all about control.
That reincarnation portal. Does it still exist?
Are you planning to go looking for it? As I recall, the Crown was never able to destroy it, so instead they hid it away. They built a giant fortress directly on top of where it was buried. But the portal itself is very loud, so if you could get to the basement of that fortress, I'm sure you could find it easily.
Incredible. Imagine the power we'd have.
Power?
Keep your intentions noble. But in any case, I thank you both again for freeing me from my prison. It has been hundreds of years since I've stepped foot outside this temple. I think now is the time. There's only one more thing I'd like you both to know before I leave. This afterlife and your first world are not the only two worlds. There are many more worlds, many more densities. Your paths will soon cross with another being who will explain all. For now, just know that your intentions create ripples across time and space. Live a life of service to others, and you will be rewarded in all lifetimes and in all worlds. Goodbye for now.
What should we do?
Let's go back to the base and tell the others what just happened. So, that's what happened.
This is quite interesting. You didn't find the Crown's hatchery, but you may have found something even more important. Now, there's some bad news. A lot has happened while you two were out on your mission.
Huh? What happened?
It's about our leader, Blaze. He's dead.
What?
He and a few others attempted to sneak into Western Baltica via the Mugen Underpass, just as you two had done previously. It was intended to be a simple mission, as you two had already cleared the way through the sewers. But the Crown had reinforcements waiting in ambush. They must have heard word of your earlier travels. Blaze and another one of our men were lost in the ambush.
No way.
Is this our fault?
We may have been too obvious when we were going around asking people in that town for leads.
No, don't blame yourselves. You fulfilled your mission just as Blaze himself ordered it. Had he wanted you to do things differently, he would have commanded you so. And in the end, he sacrificed himself for the cause, just as he was always prepared to do. While we mourn Blaze's death, we also need to think ahead. We need to find the Crown's hatchery quickly. And just as importantly, our group needs a new leader. I know what you're thinking, and it's not going to be me.
Why not? You were the mayor in Minden Village. You'd be a great leader, William.
That's precisely why. I failed in Minden. My short-sightedness is what caused the Crown to find out about our operation. Our operation that was truly the goal of Minden. You see, Minden only existed for two purposes. The first was to rescue newcomers from spawning pools as they were born into the afterlife, giving them a home in the village. A few of our villagers part of a secret group of rescuers, took on that responsibility. The second purpose was directly related, to train the brightest of the villagers into demon summoners for the resistance.
I see.
Blaze told me in the beginning to be careful about training too many demon summoners at once. He knew that if the Crown caught word about how many subjugators we had, they'd know we were up to something more than just protecting the village. But I became careless. The number of resistance members here on this island was shrinking. We were losing people in combat faster than I could train them. So I had even more subjugators shipped from the island to Minden, so I could train more people at once. That's how the Crown ended up finding out. Had I been a better leader, had I had more foresight, all those lives would have been saved. In any case, I want you two to lead us. You two will lead the South Island faction of the Resistance.
Huh?
What?
In your two missions, you two have already demonstrated the kind of level-headedness and adaptability we need. You found your way into enemy territory via unconventional means and gathered the intel we needed. And then, even though we mistakenly set you off in the wrong direction when searching for the hatchery, you ended up finding something even more profound. I know your obligations to the Resistance ended after 2 missions. We made an agreement that you'd be given all the ether you need in exchange for completing 2 missions, and you fulfilled your end of the bargain. But the Resistance could grow into something great under your leadership, I know it. We could grow this ragtag group into something powerful enough to finally take the Crown on, head on.
Wouldn't it be better to put one of your more senior soldiers in charge?
Senior soldiers? My boy, most of the soldiers you see on this island are fresh recruits, about as new to the group as you are. We've suffered heavy casualties and occasional desertions under Blaze's leadership. Terrace and Roscoe are about the only 2 long-term recruits we have left, but each has their niche here. Neither is interested in being the de facto leader.
I cannot accept. I have my own purpose now. I need to find this reincarnation portal and see it with my own eyes. With that, maybe Charlotte... Well, I just need to find it and see if it's real.
I understand, but let me ask you this. This reincarnation portal you're seeking is said to be far to the west, right? That sounds like it would be in Western Baltica. That's the half of the continent that the Crown has locked down under the tightest security. And going through the Mugen underpass isn't an option anymore. If you want to get to the reincarnation portal, you'll need help getting into Western Baltica.
That is true. If we prioritize finding this portal, I will remain with the group for the time being. But I have no interest in being the leader of a group of dirty bandits. Apollo would have to be your leader.
As you wish. And to be honest, I'm quite interested myself in this reincarnation portal as well. If what you two told me is true, there's something much bigger at hand than our squabbles with the Crown. So I'm personally on board with finding this reincarnation portal. But that's ultimately up to the new leader to decide, if he accepts his new leadership position. What do you say, Apollo?
Well, I plan to stick around only for the 2 missions upon which we initially agreed. But I can't pretend I'm not interested in finding out about this reincarnation portal. And if it's true that the Crown's building a massive army at their hatchery. Even if I were to return to a life of solitude, it wouldn't be for long. Sooner or later, the Crown would find me. They wouldn't just let our recent incursions go unpunished. So I have no choice but to fight the Crown. And maybe one day, I, you, all of us, we'll all be free from their tyranny. I'm still not sure I'm the right choice for this job, but I'll do my best. I humbly accept your offer to lead this resistance.
Great to hear it, my boy. You'll make a fine leader. Let's make an announcement to the others. But first, if you're going to be the leader, You need to look the part. Let's get you suited up in some shiny new armor. You know, something that commands respect. A subtle visual that will reassure the others that they're in the hands of a capable leader in these times of turmoil. And when you're ready, let's go make the announcement. Inspire our people. Let them know that now's the time to make a stand against the crown.
Hello, everyone. Bear with me. I'm not much of a public speaker. In fact, I'm not sure I'm really the right guy to be up here right now. But I'm going to do my best to try and be the leader you all deserve. I know this is a strange time for all of you, with Blaze gone. Most of you are relatively new here, just like I am. And now we're all wondering the same thing. Will our group even continue to survive? We don't have a choice. It has to. It's not possible for any of us to return to normal society under Crown rule anymore. They have us all marked for death. They know who we are. They may not know where we are, at least not yet. But they know we're out here, and they won't stop looking for us. That's why our only chance at survival is to take the fight directly to them. The obvious question is this. How can a small group like ours even dream of taking on a group as powerful as the Crown? Fortunately, we have valuable intel on our side. We know that most members of the Crown's army aren't experienced demon summoners. They spend their days patrolling the countryside, not training their demons. As such, they can only handle low-level demons. But their army is strong, because they have a seemingly endless supply of those demons. When one falls in battle, they simply replace it. This is why they can overpower any opposition. They simply outnumber everyone. But if we could fight them, little by little, we'd be able to diminish those numbers. We'd be able to thin their demon supply faster than they can catch them. There's only one problem with that. As it stands now, they'll never run out of demons. They have a hatchery that's supplying their army with endless reinforcements. So, our first priority is to find and destroy that hatchery. Once that's completed, we can start a war of attrition, slowly diminishing their numbers. We'll find patrolling Crown members and eliminate their demons, one by one. And then, once the herd has been thinned, we'll assault the Crown fortress head-on. Bart and I will find and destroy the hatchery. Meanwhile, I want the rest of you to spend this time training your demons. When the assault happens, I'm going to need all of you at your strongest. We know that the low-level goons of the Crown's army are weak, but we have to assume their leadership is full of experienced demon summoners. We need to be ready for that battle. There is one more thing I should mention, and that's this. There's more at stake here than just our own survival. This is a battle for the survival of free will itself. When Bart and I were on our last mission, attempting to find the hatchery, we found something else. We stumbled across an ancient temple. In that temple, an angel explained something to us. He explained that there's nothing more important in this reality than the exercise of free will. And I'm inclined to agree. Here, we have some control over how we choose to live our lives. But the people out there, the people who are still living under Crown rule, they've traded in all control over their own lives for the promise of eternal life. They have no agency over their own lives anymore. They work day and night to enrich and empower the Crown. The Crown uses fear to enrich themselves. They keep the populace in constant worry that they'll lose their jobs and thus their access to ether. They've been told that they'll eventually die without ether. They don't know that it's only a half-truth. The truth is that while our physical vehicles may someday die here without ether, and that day may be soon for those of us with summoning sickness, or it may be later for the rest, but our souls live on forever. There are many worlds, many afterlives. Our souls are on an eternal exodus from world to world, experiencing all possibilities that reality can be. In theory, We can stay here as long as we wish with Ether, or we can die and see what's next. And there's yet a third option. According to this angel, there's a reincarnation portal somewhere in Crown territory. With that portal, one may choose to reincarnate back into what we call the First World. The Crown sealed the portal off and hid its existence as part of its scheme to keep us locked here. I'm determined to find and reopen that reincarnation portal. People should have the right to decide which world they want to experience. There's far more to this reality than we realize. It's time to take back that choice from the Crown and give it back to the individuals. It's time to restore free will. I hope you'll join me in that effort. Thank you.
So where do you think this hatchery is?
From our previous intel, we know it's on an island somewhere. Not a continent, but an island. Apollo and Bart have explored the areas east of here, and it wasn't there. It's also not on any of the islands south of here. We already had people look there, so that just leaves the Arctic islands far to the north, past Baltica.
That must be it. Okay, Bart and I will sail far to the north and find the hatchery.